Today we will talk about markets and marketing theories. So you need to understand that nowadays every organization operates in a market, and this market helps organizations to be able to understand what exactly happens. For example, we are saying different organizations operate in different markets. And when you look at these markets, you realize that everything that happens in the market is controlled by the forces of demand and supply. So we need to understand first what a market is. And according to economics, a market is an arrangement where buyers and sellers come in close contact with each other directly or indirectly to sell and buy goods. And they normally meet in a particular place. So in a market, you will always find buyers and you will always find sellers. So buyers are the individuals or organizations that are willing to pay in the prevailing market price. And they basically are the ones who now bring what is called the demand in the market. Then the other players in the market are called sellers. Sellers normally are the ones who bring those items to the market. And basically, in simple terms, we refer to them as suppliers. So they are the ones who really control what is to be brought to the market. Therefore, we need to create a balance between the buyers and the sellers. And that is why we normally say we have what is called a market equilibrium. So sometimes you find that there is an imbalance between the supply and the demand. And this imbalance might be because of many factors, maybe because the buyers do not have the disposable income to spend when they are going to the market. Or rather, maybe the prices are too low and suppliers are not willing to supply those markets with the commodity that is required. So in the market, we have what is called market transaction. And market transaction involves the exchange of goods, services, information from the parties involved. And these parties we are saying are the buyers and the sellers. So they come into place in order to transact business and do business transaction. So we are saying for any trade to take place, we need to have the two players. But sometimes you have a third player who is called the intermediaries, who basically play as agents in the market for purposes of ensuring that at the end of the day, you have what is called competition. So we have different types of market competition. The first one is a perfect competition market. And in this perfect competition market, we have different buyers and different sellers. So we have many buyers and many sellers in this market. And therefore, the prices are controlled by those key players. However, it is very impossible to find a market that is perfect. All these other markets are imperfect. Either you can find the demand is too high, or sometimes you can get the supply is high, but yet you do not have customers who are going to buy those products. So what are some of the key characteristics of perfect competition market? The first characteristic is that we have unlimited number of buyers and sellers. So you find we have many buyers, and at the same time, we have many sellers. When you go to the market in the morning, for example, you want to buy fresh produce, and you go to a market like Marikiti in the morning, you will find that in Marikiti, we have many buyers and many sellers in the morning. So that is a clear example of a perfect competition market, where every supplier wants to sell their produce, and at the same time, we have many buyers who want to sell their buyers who want to buy what is there in the market. Then we also have identical or substitute products. So in this market, we have a lot of substitutes, and therefore customers can easily switch from one supplier to the other, regardless of the price. So in this market, suppliers are very careful so that they do not treat customers in a bad way, because customers have an option to go to the other suppliers. Then in this kind of market, we have no barriers to entry or exit in the market. Any person who is willing to sell or buy in this market can always buy. So this is a typical example of no barriers. Then buyers have complete information on the product and prices. In this type of market, you realize that customers are informed. They have all the information that they require. Therefore, it is very easier for them to make decisions on what to buy and when to buy in that market. Then companies are price takers, meaning that they have no power to set prices. So here, the forces of demand and supply are the ones which control the price in the market. Therefore, companies do not have control of what they're going to set in terms of prices. And in this type of market also, we have perfect knowledge, where we are saying that information is everywhere and information is free. Therefore, we can say that customers have the relevant information that is needed. Therefore, they can make decisions whenever they want. Given that producers and consumers have perfect knowledge, it assumes that they make rational decisions to maximize their self-interest. Because we are saying, because we already have the information in place, therefore the players in the market are going to make rational decisions. So we are also saying in this market, we have homogeneous products. And homogeneous here, we are saying the products are identical in a way, they are similar in a way. Each unit of input, such as unit of labor, are also homogeneous. They are also identical. Then no single firm can influence the market price or the market condition. Remember, we have said everything is controlled by the forces of demand and supply in the market. Then there are very, very many firms in the market, which is as a result of no barrier to entry. So you can still enter the market anytime you want. Then there is no need of government regulation, because everything is controlled by the various forces of demand and supply. Then we are saying there are assumed to be no externalities. That is, there are no external costs or benefits to third parties, because everybody controls the market, and buyers and suppliers are able to control the cost in the market. Therefore, we do not have extra costs incurred in the market. Then we are saying equilibrium in perfect competition. So the point of equilibrium is the point where demand equals to supply. So you find that the demand is equal to supply. Demand is the price at which buyers are willing to buy those products. And on the other side is supply, where it is the price suppliers are willing to buy their products, or they are willing to supply in the market using the prevailing market price. So basically, we are saying that at the point of equilibrium can only be in theory, but not in practice, where we are saying that we have demand and supply is equal. So what are the benefits? It can be argued that perfect market will yield the following benefit. Number one, as a result of perfect knowledge, there is no information failure. So everybody has the information that is required. Therefore, we do not have failures in the market. And there are no barriers to entry, meaning that existing firms can compete, and there is no one firm that is controlling the prices. Therefore, there is no monopoly. Then only profits are made. Therefore, producers just cover the opportunity cost. So the organizations in this kind of market make normal profits. There is no need to spend money on advertisement since every customer knows or has information or knowledge about what is sold and what can be produced. Then there is also maximum choice for consumers. Consumers can easily buy from this kind of market. Then we are saying, what are the limitations? All sellers in a perfect market must sell exactly similar goods at identical prices. So for these markets to be possible, we need to have identical prices, identical goods, and same customers who are going to buy from that kind of market. Then no real market can or could attain the characteristics of a perfect market. So it is just on paper, but in reality, we do not have a market that is perfect. Either you can find that we have a lot of demand, or you can find that the supply is also high. At no given time will you ever find a perfect market in reality. Then we also have imperfect markets. Imperfect markets refer to any economic market that does not meet the rigorous assumptions of perfectly competitive market. So every market is an imperfect market. In an imperfect competition environment, companies sell different products and services, set their own individual prices, fight for market share, and also ensure that they protect their barriers to entries so that no company can easily enter that market. So you find that most companies can also organize to join forces so that we do not have new players in the market. Look at the cases of these big companies where we only have Safaricom and Airtel. In the event we have smaller companies that want to be in that space, you find that these big companies try their level best to protect their space. And that is why it becomes very hard for small firms to survive in such a kind of competitive market, which is an imperfect competition. So economists generally agree that real-world market rare meet the assumption of perfect competition. So there is no market that can be a perfect market. We really have to have maybe different characteristics that cannot justify a market to be a perfect market. For example, for a market to be perfect, the following must be met. Number one, companies sell similar or identical products that we've talked about. Therefore, no product differentiation. So the product must be similar. The market is made up of large number of buyers and large number of sellers. That one is obvious. And we are saying all market participants and potential participants have free and perfect information about the past, the present, and the future. And also look at issues like preference and the technologies available. All transactions can be carried out with zero cost, which is very, very impossible. Then companies can enter or exit the market without incurring any cost, which is also very impossible. We have different types of imperfect markets, and one of the market we are saying is a monopoly market. A monopoly market, we are saying this is a market where we only have one dominant seller who offers products, and therefore we do not have substitutes for that product. And in this kind of market, we have high barriers to entry and a single seller who controls the prices of goods and services. A good example is Kenya Power, which is a monopoly, where we only have one single supplier of electricity. Therefore, no other company can be given the leeway to enter such space. Then we also have another market which is called oligopoly. In this kind of market, we have many buyers, but few sellers. And this market is very common in the petroleum industry, where we have few sellers who are selling petroleum, but we have many buyers who are buying that product. These few players in the market may bar others from entering. And that is why when you look at the industry of petroleum, we have many cartels who join forces to control that market of petrol or diesel. Remember, in this kind of market, they have the power of setting their own prices. Therefore, they can easily control the prices of those products. Look at the case of last week. They increased the price of petroleum products. Therefore, there is nothing that people can do about it. So this kind of market is very, very critical because we have few sellers, but many buyers. Then we also have another market, which is called monopolistic competition. In this market, there are many sellers who offer similar products that cannot be substituted. So we have many sellers who are offering similar products, but sometimes it becomes difficult to get substitutes for those products. Business compete with one another and are price makers, but their individual decisions do not affect the others. So the decision you make as an individual will not really affect the others in that kind of market. Maybe we can look at the industry where we have the soap industry. We realize that most firms have the same product or similar products, but they cannot still control the market because customers have different tastes and wants. Then we have the monopsony market. This structure have many sellers, but few buyers. So you realize in a monopsony market or oligopsony, we have many sellers, but few buyers for that product. In both cases, the buyer is the one who manipulates the market price by playing firms against one another. So the keyword there is that we have many sellers, but few buyers for that. Therefore, the buyers have a high bargaining power than the sellers. What are some of the market theories that exist? So market theories here, we are talking about market systems, which allow individuals to exchange goods and services voluntarily based on price and without knowing one another. So in this market, we are saying we have different systems in the market. And when you talk about a system, then it means a system is made up of very many subsystems which are put together, and they work hand in hand to ensure at the end of the day, they meet their objectives. For instance, we are saying the cup of coffee a person drinks in the morning was facilitated by 1,000 of players. For example, we are talking about the farmer who harvested the coffee. Then the coffee was processed. The coffee was also manufactured. It was packaged. It was shipped. It was stocked. It was sold in various stages of production along the way until the item reaches the customer or the consumer, who is the end user of the product. Then we are talking about the invisible hand. And this is a theory that was developed by one economist who was called Adam Smith. And this is what we are calling the forces, the unseen forces of the market, where we have a free market that is characterized by the forces of demand and supply, who then control the market. So it is characterized by the mechanism through which beneficial social and economic outcome may arise from accumulated self-interest or actions, none of whom tends to bring about such outcomes. So the invisible hand will help in ensuring that wealth is distributed across the market. So we are also saying, first, voluntary traders in a free market produce unintentional and widespread benefits, and these benefits are greater than those of regulated and planned economy. So we have an invisible hand that controls the forces of the demand and supply. Then we also have what is called the comparative advantage. And this occurs when a country can produce a good or service at a lower opportunity cost than another country. For example, if Kenya produces maize at a price maybe of 100 shillings, then we go to another country like Tanzania, where it can produce the same maize at 60 shillings, then we can say Tanzania has a comparative advantage over Kenya in the production of maize. Therefore, many organizations may tend to move towards going to buy from Tanzania, unlike in Kenya. Therefore, we are saying the country has comparative advantage over the other. There's an example there. We are saying a laborer can use 1 hour of work to produce either one cloth or 3 wines. We can think of opportunity cost as follows. What is foregone benefit from choosing to produce 1 cloth or 1 wine? So therefore, by producing 1 cloth, the opportunity cost is 3 wines. So we are saying opportunity cost is the cost that an organization incurs when it forgoes a certain item, or it forgoes to produce a certain item. So the benefit that they are going to get from that item, then we are saying they have an opportunity cost. Then we have what is called absolute advantage. This refers to the capacity of any economic agent, either an individual or group, to produce a larger quantity of a product than its competitor. For example, we are saying an absolute advantage is achieved through low-cost production. If a company is able to produce at a lower cost than the other company, then we can say that company has absolute advantage over the other country. In other words, we are saying it refers to an individual or company or country that can produce at a lower marginal cost, such as advantage is established when compared to the competitors. And when you're talking about marginal cost, this is the cost of producing 1 extra unit. Then if a country can be able to lower that cost, then we are saying that country has absolute advantage over the other. So we are also talking about the law of markets. That one you can read. But however, we can say according to the law of market, a person's ability to demand goods or services is a direct result of production activity that they have undertaken. They earn an income either through the production and sales physical assets or by supplying labor to the market. Here we are saying, all in all, each and every person who is in the market has a role to play in that market, either through maybe what they are going to spend in terms of income, or they might be part of the production process. Then we also have the quantity theory of money, where we are saying it is called the Fisherian theory. Simply states that a change in price can be related to a change in money supply. So if there's a change in money, then it will have a ripple effect to the supply or the demand. In simple terms, you can also say it states that the quantity of money available, that is money supplied in the economy, and the price level have the same growth rate in the long run. So if the government decides to increase the money, that money will have a ripple effect in everything else. For example, we are also saying when there is a fall in interest rates or a decrease in taxes, there is little restriction on how money can be accessed. Therefore, it means that there will be a high level of consumption. That is, will be having a higher propensity to consume. This is because every customer will have money in their pocket and they will be willing to spend that money to buy those products in the market. What is the impact of market competition on procurement and supply? So we are looking at the forces and we are saying the forces of demand and supply in the market will lead to distortion. And this will include the following. Number one, so we are also saying a monopoly is where one business controls the supply of an item that is unique and often covered by patents. So for monopoly to succeed, they must patent their product so that any other company cannot copy that product. Then the other thing we are talking about the market competition is that the issue of cartels. And remember, when we are talking about cartels, this is a group of businesses that come together so that they try their level best to distort the market completely so that we do not have players entering that market. Then monopoly power has few businesses that are able to exercise supply market power called oligopolistic behavior. So you realize in an oligopolistic behavior, we have few sellers in the market who control the prices. And remember, I said we have, for example, a good example of this kind of market is the petroleum industry, where we have few players who control the price of petroleum products. Then government approves and regulated supply markets. For example, we are talking about the sea and the airports, where the government has a lot of control in such kinds of market space. For example, we have a few airline industries in the country. Maybe the most common known airline industry is Kenya Airways and the Jambo Jet. Then the others are not even known because the government has tried their level best to regulate these kind of markets. Then we have vertically integrated supply chains. So you find that companies are able to integrate their supply chain vertically. And when I talk about vertical, I'm talking about integration on the up and down integration, where you are integrating with firms that are above you. You're also integrating with firms that are slightly below you for purposes of ensuring better flow of market or better flow of products in this kind of markets. Then we are also talking about suppliers that compete with their end customers in providing a finished product. For example, we are talking about automotive replacement parts. And this is very common when you're dealing with the motor vehicle industry, where you are selling spare parts. So most of the time you communicate with your customers so that you are able to produce products that are going to be used. Remember, cases of replacement of spare parts is very, very critical. Then suppliers that sell to all major customers restrict products and supply chain improvements until all customers demand the improvement. And here we are talking about the types of packaging offered in retail product. Then we have some level of distortion of competition. And when you're talking about distortion, it affects many things or many issues. And here we are talking about supply dependency, where only one supplier can provide the product the company needs. Therefore, a lot of dependency is in that product. And this is very risky to many businesses because in the event that supplier is not there or that supplier refuses to supply, then we'll have a lot of supply risks in the organization. And this might affect the whole process of production for those firms. Then the other thing is transition cost, When a company builds a long-term partnership with a supplier like Microsoft, the transition cost is extremely high, which gives the supplier a lot of leverage. So it is very difficult for that organization to transition from Microsoft to another company. Therefore, companies like Microsoft will always take advantage of that because they realize even if you do what, you're not going to leave that supplier. And the issue of financial risk is also very common. When a company uses small-scale suppliers to develop their product or patent products for them, they create a monopoly for the supply side. And this might lead to financial risks for that organization. Then the issue of information and intellectual property security. Here we are saying when you build long-term relationship with your suppliers and have access to critical information, therefore they might end up using that against the organization, and this will affect the operation of that organization. So those ones can talk about them. I think that is all for that topic. Maybe if you have a question.